Alright guys, we are live. Oh, there's a... Yeah. Kind of messed up there, but it's alright. I don't know why. I'll send you the link. Alright. Yep, alright. Good golly. I really hate technology. It kills me. I guess I'm just going to do this live because I don't care. There we go. Oh, and now let's see some of the little behind the scenes there, I guess, guys. Because I'm not... There we go. Good. Alright, so we're live. We're still going over the rundown somewhat. So a little behind the scenes to anyone that's watching. We are currently in the midst of a tournament somewhat. I mean, we haven't really... I've released the bracket onto the Instagram page. But we have not finished... We haven't actually released the actual battles yet, but we're still talking about that. So you think it would be good to do that via stories or via posts? I guess I think I have to do posts. The only problem is posts. If I post 8 posts in a row, you know, some of the posts aren't going to get as much response. So I don't know how to do that. Like, I mean, I guess I can do posts, but I'm just going to have to hope enough people vote. I can, but that would be absurd, and people would probably get mad if you're... Yeah, it is strange. I guess we can figure that out later. I'll post that later tonight. Alright, let's get ready for the episode then. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, the other episode 59 did not ever get released, and that's because my computer hard drive crashed. Yay! For like the 5th time. And yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, I just didn't expect it. I know that, but I mean, I just had it replaced by, like, I did not at all expect it to just crash like that. And nor should it have. It's completely illogical what happened, but I mean, I just literally got it replaced. Okay, well, I'm very... That's the duty of a computer. Alright, so... I feel really weird without a headset on. I feel like I'm a bear to the world. It's the headphones. I mean, because nothing's happening right now, so... You know? That was the jack on the headphones is what plugs into them. No. Yeah, no, yes, the headphones plug into the microphone. I know what I know. I mean, but it's never done that before, so it would make no sense. I think it's the headphones. I'm pretty confident. Because it's not, but if it was the microphone's not doing it anymore. Yeah, I know, so, but this is the same type of jack. I mean, the same type of plug plugging into the jack, so it would be making the same noise, I think. Yeah, these headphones are plugged into the microphone. Yes, I do. That these headphones are plugged into this microphone, so it was the microphone. It was the head. I think it's the headphones. Yeah, I'm wearing not. I'm wearing earbuds. Yeah, that's yeah. It was all right. So we'll jump into Busch Gardens East Coaster recap. I guess we can just talk a little bit briefly about what they talked about. So like Six Flags Great Adventure was Jersey Devil. What else did they talk about? They didn't really talk about anything else. That's kind of it. They talked about Jersey Devil barbecue or whatever. I guess that doesn't matter. This is Holiday World. It was Hollywood Nights and Voyage retrackings and all that. That was good. Yeah, Cheetah Chase. Dollywood was just kind of a recap of this year. Oh yeah, like that little kids area. They're making it like a. What are they doing? They're doing like music venue or something. Yeah. Dollywood just kind of gave a yearly recap for their park. Really, that was kind of it. There wasn't really much more to it. I don't really remember that much about what they talked about. Oh yeah, they did talk about that. Hershey Park talked about what Candemonium. Yeah. Dorney Park kind of just gave a recap again. Didn't they do? They did the Kings Island thing too. Yeah, they pulled the Kings Dominion. I'm pretty sure that's just what their whole PR team's been told to do if they go to anything. Yeah, Kings Dominion was just like right into Kings Island. Yeah, right into Kings Island. Kennywood. Oh, I'm hearing feedback a little bit right there. I heard some feedback. I guess that was just an error. Kennywood just talked about Steelers country, and that was pretty cool. Dutch Wonderland talked about the Cartoon Network. Yeah, Jack Rabbit Penrith and Kennywood. I mean, Dutch Wonderland talked about the Cartoon Network Hotel, and I think that's pretty much it. They talked somewhat about like Merlin's Mayhem and stuff like that, but not really. Yeah, CoasterCon stuff. Knoebels. I mean, they all talked. We can talk about CoasterCon too, like after we discuss that. Knoebels just talked about the Phoenix getting a new station, and that was kind of it. And they told stories and jokes. Briefly, yeah, they did. They showed us a picture of that. And then PTC just did. We didn't do anything. We just heard about the tour we're going to be getting. And I guess they kind of briefly went over the. Yeah, but it was just like one picture for each. It wasn't like in depth or anything. I don't think it was Holiday World. That must have been Knoebels because Knoebels is the park after them. I don't remember. Pretty long, probably. Alright, and break run, blah blah blah, 2020. And then wrap up. Alright, so we're ready when you're ready. I know, I said we're ready when you're ready. Alright. I'm gonna see these one more time. Oh, these headphones are starting to do a little bit now. That's not cool. Blah, 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 blah. A little bit. You're gonna have to tell me what he's saying. I can't hear that well. Yeah, okay, I hear. And now Twitter's texting me and saying that I'm now eligible to reinstate my account if I follow their rules, these certain rules. They're funny. Pretty much. It's like if you delete the tweets before you were 13 that you made and everything, which I'm like, all right. All right, let's get ready. They're saying they can't hear you, Bob. No, it's not me. I can hear you. I don't know why. This is strange. I was just testing this and... Oh, it's probably because I did this. Alright. Start talking now. Yeah, they can hear you now. And I think it's because I used different headphones. I untook those headphones and then re-plugged the headphones in, so it's a different source now of audio. I had to change that.
So right. You fixed it?
Yeah, I fixed it now.
Oh no, he said it's very low.
Now it shouldn't be though. It should be good now.
Yeah. The problem is the texting, like when you type something in the chat, it's like in the future for them.
Yeah.
Because the video is so lagged.
Should be good now. Alright, I'm gonna grab something and then we can start. Alrighty, let's get down to business.
Let me silence my phone.
Alright. So, Hershey. I don't know if I've missed anything. Has anything else come out in the news lately that's been? Oh, there is something I wanted to add. Can you add this for me real quick while I'm just telling you about it? Because I think I have it saved in here. It's just, I think this is pretty cool. West Coaster at Santa Monica Pier is getting a makeover. They're getting like brand new trains on the ride.
Oh yeah.
That'll be.
I can't do this editing thing.
And we have the opening date of Texas Stingray now too. And then Emperor, the trains have been. The trains have been put on.
There you go. Do that editing thing.
I think it's called West Coaster.
No, it was something west Route 66 West Coaster or something like that.
Route 66. Are you sure?
Route 66 West Coaster.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't actually read that article.
I didn't read it either, so it doesn't really matter. It just looks nice. They're just getting new trains. I think that's pretty much it. Probably some new theming.
It'll be enhanced by an automotive decor. Blah 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 blah. Vintage theme billboards. Start another road. The all new roller coaster has been designed from wheels up as new ride cars feature design elements of classic American touring cars that harken back to a bygone era of automotive excellence and beauty.
Sounds like a lot of things for it's getting redone. The cars, yay!
Somebody said that Chance Rides was Chance Rides was making the. I don't know anything about this coaster.
All right, and then so we know that what is it? Want to see what San Diego Stingray?
Wait, what's that?
SeaWorld San Diego announced the new coaster's opening and
Oh, it is. Oh, it's a Morgan anyway. So
it is?
yep.
I didn't even know they had a Morgan.
It's like their only coaster, isn't it?
I'm sure.
Indeed it is. It was built in 1996. It's 55 feet tall.
Oh boy. Sounds like fun. Alright.
It actually looks like. I kind of want to go ride it.
I think you're just a Morgan fanboy. And Chance.
I am. Dude, it has. Like, this picture just shows, like, Phantom's Revenge bunny hills. Obviously not going as fast, but.
I'm not. It's Route 66 West Coaster.
Yep.
I'm not getting anything when I look it up.
Huh?
I'm not getting anything when I look that up.
Well, it's not listed as that on RCDB yet.
What's it called? West Coaster?
Santa Monica West Coaster.
Oh my no!
What?
This is the game. This is the coaster that they based off of GTA. That does not look like Phantom's Revenge. And it looks
Look
terrible.
at wait.
It looks pretty pathetic. It's a pathetic
Look at the
ride.
10th picture. I'm not saying the coaster looks like it, but look at the 10th picture. Tell me that doesn't look like a Phantom's Revenge Bunny Hill.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. They based a coaster off. There's a game called Grand Theft Auto, and they based a roller coaster on that game off this, which is kind of funny. Because I've ridden it many times on that, but I have never. All right, that's pretty cool. That's good enough for that, and then we'll go Coaster Craze, and I'm sure. Let's keep this like an hour and a half too. We don't need to be like freaks, and because we could go really long with all the stuff we have right now. Like let's try to keep East Coaster short. Yeah, the beginning of the ride is a helix. You know it's not a good ride then. You literally go into a helix.
Why does that necessarily mean it's not a good ride?
I mean, but that's just like, come on. It's just so anticlimactic. And then the first drop is there's only two airtime hills, and one is the first drop, and then there's another. This looks, yeah, I think you need to watch the POV, and then you'll see. I don't think you want to ride this as much as you think.
I don't care. I'll ride any Morgan.
I know, but I don't think you understand.
Goes 35 miles an hour.
That's not very fast. You do get 2 ride cycles on it, though. I'm pretty sure, so that's pretty cool. Pretty sure because it's very short. All right, let's go.
1,300 feet.
Yeah, so yeah, I think you do get 2 ride cycles. All right, let's get to business. Alrighty, guys, welcome to Coaster Talk. I'm just kidding. That would be funny.
What?
That'd be funny, right? If I just went right into it. Uh-oh. Wouldn't that be funny if I just got right into it?
What? The podcast?
Yeah, welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. Alright, let's get to business and start this thing. I don't know why I keep saying get to business. Let's just start. A little bit of a late start, but it's better than nothing. Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, I guess I'll talk a little bit about Battle for the Ages or whatever, because that'll be like the lead way into the episode. I'll be like, we have an exciting announcement to make, something like that.
You're gonna start the hype train.
Yeah. No pun intended. A little bit of pun intended, I guess. Alright. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaster. Actually, I need to test the audio first to make sure everything's functioning. That would not be fun. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Yep, that's good because guess what? For some reason, it's recording on my external PC monitor, not my microphone. So, this entire episode would have been recorded with me yelling at my computer.
God.
I'm glad I just checked that.
I hope we don't end up with a Coaster Talk podcast 59 take 3.
I don't either. I don't know what's happening though. So, my microphone is set to speaker. I don't know why it's not. Testing the audio. Hello. Hey. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Testing the audio. No, it keeps recording off of my PC. What the heck? I don't know what's happening. This is weird. It's set to record off of my... That's not good, Bob. Oh, maybe I just need to reopen. Hopefully that's what's going on. Alright. Don't you just love the live stream people that get to watch us fail? Watch me fail. Alright. Hello, everybody. Hopefully my audio is working now. This is Coaster Talk Source. Blah, blah, blah. Testing, please work, God, please. Hello, everybody. Hopefully my
Oh.
audio... It's not working. I don't know. This is crazy.
It's gonna be May, and we're gonna be recording Coaster Talk 59. Take like
I
15.
don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have it set. My default recording is this microphone. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. I had my default speakers set to the microphone, not the microphone itself. So the microphone. Oh boy, I'm gonna. Hey everybody, I'm testing the audio now to make sure it's working properly, so I don't sound like a moron and I don't have to re-record it. We don't have to re-record until May. YouTube, Coaster Talk, blah blah blah. Test, please work. If it's set to default and it's still not working, then we're gonna have a problem. Hey everybody, I'm testing the audio. Yay! It worked. I'm so glad I checked that. You don't know how lucky you are, because I was close to just going, you know what, never mind, we'll just go with it. Oh, that would have been bad. Alright. You ready?
I have been ready for a while.
I know, I just say that just so I feel better about myself. Just go along with it. Alright. Hello everybody and welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. My name is James Barber and it is the week...
And I'm Bob Mertz.
No, I forgot to do that.
And you screwed up.
Yes, I did. I'm not used to that yet. I've only been doing that for like 2 weeks. You gotta give me some time. I'm used to just going straight into the intro. Alright. So it's the week of February. When is this going to be released? Like, by like tomorrow. So I guess I'll say it's the week of the 2nd. But then we're talking in past tense. That's kind of weird. What should I say? It's the week of the 2nd, I guess, because I released it on the Friday, on the Sunday.
Say it's the first week of February.
Okay. Yeah, alright, that works. Alright. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. My name is James Barber.
And I'm Bob Mertz.
And it is the first week of February here at Coaster Talk, or in the world, actually. Not just at Coaster Talk.
It could be just Coaster Talk.
Just
We're in
Coaster
our
Talk.
own little world.
We have our own time zone. Alright, God. Take 3 of take 2. Alright. No, you laughed. You ruined it. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were starting. I just pictured you with one of those like movie boards just clap.
Oh my. Oh boy. All right, take 4 of take 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaster Talk, your source for everything roller coasters. My name is James Barber.
And I'm Bob Mertz.
And it is the first week of February, and it's another exciting episode of Coaster Talk Podcast, episode 59. And we have some big things coming up on the show, Bob. We're going to talk about in a little bit coming up before we do that. We're going to get into the other segments, of course, but we have some exciting stuff to talk about later on.
Indeed, we do.
All right, so but of course, traditions are always predominant here, so we're going to move into the first segment of the show, which we call Attraction News. What the fuck that means? What the fuck does... Traditions are prominent. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I guess they know that. It makes sense, but it's very weirdly worded, but whatever.
In April, we should just go into Coaster Craze.
April Fools! Oh, boy. Alright, let's move on. Busch Gardens Tampa. Alright, here we go. So Busch Gardens Tampa Bay is opening up a brand new roller coaster for 2020 called Iron Gwazi. Many of you know about that. That's not really big news. However, in the past week, they have put the trains on the track. And I'd say I was not a huge fan of these trains prior to seeing them on the track. I still don't think they're the most visually appealing. I still think they look like they were drawn by like a 5-year-old, but they look a lot more visually appealing, I will say, on the track. It really pops. That green and purple really worked well together, a lot better than I thought they would. I still think they look somewhat, not that appealing, but overall, I think they look somewhat better on the track. So, because when they were first revealed IAPA, I was like, oh God, what is this? What have they done? And then as they get closer to opening it and they put it on the train and they put it on the track, it looks somewhat better. I do like what they were going for with the front of the train being like an alligator. I do like that. I definitely think that's a cool design. I just think it was executed poorly. I mean, I don't know. It looks very strange and very like modern artsy. It doesn't really stick out to me that well.
All right. Now, let me clarify for everybody. The trains are awesome, and James doesn't know what he's talking about. But I think they can look like Minecraft.
Yeah, and I don't see how that's a good thing, but all right.
What? Oh, see, and I rest my case. You don't know what looks cool.
No,
it's like Cybertruck from Tesla.
And a lot of people have talked about how ugly those cars are. So,
and people are gonna buy them like crazy. I guarantee.
Oh my gosh! All right, yeah, because it's Tesla.
And then in like
Tesla
5 years, everybody was like, oh, those are the coolest looking trucks in the world.
No, Tesla could literally design the worst. They could design anything, and anyone would buy them. That's just how.
So could RMC in today's world. Apparently,
I mean, obviously, it's gonna be a great ride. That's why. I just think the trains aren't executed the best of their abilities. I mean, I just don't think it. I think it looks very strange, and
I think it's awesome. I think it's better than Steel Vengeance trains, actually.
You see, yeah, I don't know. I didn't find anything wrong with Steel Vengeance trains. I think they're fine. I think they look good.
I didn't say anything was wrong. I just think these are better than Steel Vengeance.
No, I don't agree with that.
I don't know. They have more character. There's more to them.
I will agree that the colors and everything stick out and pop more, and it's definitely more.
I love the colors. The color scheme.
It's very vibrant, but I don't think that therefore classifies the front of the train as looking good. I would take like a classic B&M, like Hyper, like the front of the train on Apollo Chariot or Fury or whatever, where it's just plain. Other than this, just looks really weird and strange, and I don't know. I just think it looks kind of awkwardly placed. I don't think it's the best, but I have yet to see why some people are. I mean, but this is a highly controversial thing. Some people do love it, and I've heard other people that don't. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about this. It's just I don't mind the trains on. Twisted Timbers, on Wicked Cyclone, on this. I mean, on Steel Vengeance. This is just, I don't know. It's just something about it. I guess I understand. Maybe this is how people felt with Steel Vengeance, because I know a lot of people dislike Steel Vengeance trains for some reason. I don't think they were that bad. I know what they were going for. It looks pretty cool, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think Steel Vengeance look fine. I have no complaints about them.
Yeah, there were some.
I just think this is really different.
Yeah, it is different. It's different. I agree. I just don't know if.
And I think that's what makes it good. And,
I don't know.
And I don't know, like the whole Minecraft thing, like the whole 8-bit thing. I mean, those are the video games I grew up on, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, a little bit of a bias. I mean, I grew up on Minecraft too. I played Minecraft. So I don't know. I played Minecraft too as a kid, so I don't know if it's.
I actually don't really. I never really played Minecraft that much, but like, it's that look, like, NES and Atari graphics, and like
just the boxy figure.
Yeah. I love that look.
Yeah, maybe that's just maybe we're from different generations.
You're used to 16-bit, 64-bit. I
like the clean cut, crystal clear, straightforward. Yeah, and then this is a little strange. I think they're definitely going for this kind of look though. I think they purposely wanted like a weird. It's like a modern art, kind of like an African tribal art type of like alligator. Like this looks like if this had been like, I know with Gwazi, like the logo of that was like a very boxy, like it was like a lion and a tiger, and it was like a boxy drawing of that. So I know that that's probably what they're going for. I just don't think this looks good. I understand that they definitely were purposely doing this. It wasn't like they accidentally ended up with like it looking like terrible like this, or not terrible, but looking boxy and weird like this. I know they are purposely going for that. I just don't think it looks good, but that's they
I think
obviously
it looks phenomenal, and you don't know what you're talking about.
obviously their PR team agrees with you, or they wouldn't have done this. Or their PR and marketing and all that. Those people were like, yeah, it looks good. So and
Well,
the
here's the bright
designers and all
side,
that.
James. When you're riding it, you'll be behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care that much. It's just,
You won't
yeah.
be looking at it head on.
I will
So,
not. I will. I guarantee you. This is not going to stop me from enjoying this ride. Yeah, that is not going to happen. Yeah, moving on to Six Flags America. Talking about that park because that park rarely comes up in the news anymore on attraction.
oh, it's about to start coming
Yeah.
up.
Well, they're planning on building a new DC Villains themed bar near their new Harley Quinn Spinsanity ride, which we knew about for a while. We've known about that ride, but they kind of still are releasing more details. So there's going to be a bar nearby themed to the DC villains, which is a cool idea. It's a cool like PR point to like theme it to the DC villains. I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool drinks, and I'm sure it'll be like a. I'm curious to see like what kind of theme they go with. I mean, how can you? I don't know if it's going to be like the Joker's like area. I don't know what they're gonna do with like a DC villain. Is it gonna be like all black or what are they gonna do there? But I'm curious to see that. They're also adding some new themed merchandise, which is kind of strange because they're adding it for Harley Quinn, and I just don't. That's kind of weird to have flat ride merch like that. In my opinion, I just find it a little strange.
I don't think it's that. I don't know. Like I don't know that I'd buy like a scrambler shirt unless it was like that guy standing up that's always on the warning signs on scramblers with like no face and a frowny face and
Yeah.
like or like no eyes, just a frowny face, and he's just holding the gate open, standing up, and looking like an idiot. I want that shirt.
Yeah.
We need to make that shirt. That's
That'll
what
be a
we need.
Coaster Talk merchandise. That'll be some Coaster Talk merch.
But like Black Widow at Kennywood, I wouldn't. I mean, that wouldn't be like, oh my god, I have to have a Black Widow shirt, but I wouldn't mind having a Black Widow shirt, and it's the
Yeah.
same ride. So
Now that I think about it, Finnegan's Flyer also has some merch as well, and
it,
that is a cool
neat.
logo and stuff like that. So I guess depending on the flat ride, I just think it's strange because I'm sure it'll be more like generically branded Harley Quinn. It won't be like Harley Quinn's Insanity. It'll just be like Harley Quinn. This is Harley Quinn. So I think it'll be more like from the comic or movie aspect than it will be actual ride. I don't know. And also, this is a clone, so it's not like I don't know. A cloned maybe I need to rephrase it and say a cloned flat ride. I just would never buy. I don't think the merchandise for
I
that.
mean, a flat ride is a clone. Like,
Yes, but cloned in terms of this is the exact same logo and the exact same
oh
ride
well,
color scheme that they're using at like 50 other parks.
well. I mean, that's a Six Flags thing.
Yeah,
It's use the same logo. And I think that's the bigger problem with the shirt. It's not that it's for Spinsanity. It's that I'm not a fan of Six Flags merch in
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
It's just not.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
They
not
just kind
up
of
there.
slap a logo on. It's not. That's kind of all they do. Like
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
SeaWorld parks, I even like the SeaWorld parks, which a lot of people do sometimes complain about the SeaWorld parks merch, but I like the Apollo's Chariot and the Verboten. Those have like the cool design background. Like it's not just the logo; it's like actual text, and then there's like the background. You can see the actual ride and stuff like that. That's a lot cooler than just slapping the logo on a shirt. Um, which again, Cedar Fair does. I think Cedar Fair is probably the best merch out of the chains. I've always loved Cedar Fair merch. They have some really cool selections.
Although like they've started to do some weird stuff recently that makes me wonder how long that'll remain. But like they've come out with some shirts that's just like, wait, that was really cookie cutter.
Yeah, but they do overall have a very good selection of merchandise. I really enjoy
Knoebels is the merch king. Like they're
Yeah, well, I was talking more chain. Yeah, but Knoebels definitely. I mean,
right.
yeah, we went into that store during Phoenix Fall Fun Fest, and there was like 80 different shirts to choose from.
Yeah, and they just keep making them, and they keep selling them, and people buy them because they're awesome.
Yeah, and you think I'm over explaining? There's probably 80 shirts just for Phoenix, and then there's 30 for Twister, and then there's 20 for the actual event we were at, Phoenix Fall Fun Fest. There was 20 for those. It's crazy how much.
It's crazy awesome.
Yeah, Six
But
Flags
back
is
to
like
Six Flags America.
back to Six Flags America. They're updating
They're
their parking.
they're also doing the new security check-in at the front.
Yeah.
They're going to remodel the entire entrance.
Yeah, and that's
which
something huge. It's something.
I don't think the entrance looked bad,
No,
but
yeah.
it just wasn't functional for the way they do things now.
Hmm.
And I think the new design's actually going to be really really functional. It
I don't.
reminds me a lot of Dorney Park.
Yeah, it does. It does remind me a lot of Dorney Park as well. I don't think it was necessarily bad. Yeah, it wasn't like an ugly design or anything like that. It's just they just kind of sat there. Those like weird ticket booths that were never used. So it didn't really look bad in that sense, but it just it kind of felt dysfunctional walking into that park, and there's just random ticket booths sitting there, unused. So this is definitely a great use of their resource. They're also going to be doing some landscaping, which is good because for Six Flags America, they as much landscaping as you can get because they don't really have much of that. I will admit that it's definitely overlooked as like being a ugly and disgusting park. It's not really. It just every little bit
No,
of landscaping can help though, because it definitely is not like the most visually appealing park, but it's definitely not as bad as it is made out to be sometimes.
well, and this is the thing I love about these announcements is that I think Six Flags America has this problem of there everybody just keeps repeating like, oh, it's ghetto, it's like run down, it's beat up, it's blah
Yeah.
blah blah, it's this, it's that, and those things just keep circulating, whether they're true or not. People just keep repeating. So when somebody actually goes to Six Flags America, they walk in expecting it, they look for it, they find it because that's what they're looking for. They don't take the time to actually like really assess the whole situation. They
Hmm.
just are they're getting what they're expecting.
Yeah.
And I mean, Six Flags America has its problems. I'll tell you, line jumping is probably their biggest problem.
Yeah. It is.
That is my biggest frustration there. Outside of that, though, it's a great park. They have phenomenal lineups. They take care of their rides really well. They're like they have old rides that break down, and maintenance is immediately there. Like I don't think I've ever been to the park when a coaster has been down the entire day, with the exception of Batwing on some occasions, because I mean, Batwing just like that's the nature of the beast. But again, most parks would be throwing that thing away. Six Flags America keeps it going.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting, with King's Dominion, how we like. I always used to think how much better King's Dominion was than Six Flags America, and I mean, if you actually think about it, they have the better version of a wind seeker that can actually run in the wind. They have a drop tower that works. It's not as massive, but like King's Dominion's drop tower, I don't think ran once when I was there.
Yeah.
They're going to have the better pendulum ride.
Yeah.
They have the better version of Flight of Fear,
Indeed.
in my opinion. I
100%.
mean,
100%.
it's a great park,
Yeah.
and it's starting to get to be a little bit better than King's Dominion.
I know it's almost. Yeah, it almost is reaching that level of where I'm not as upset as having, I'm more upset of having King's Dominion as a home park. And, before it was always, at least you don't have Six Flags America as your home park, you could be a lot worse off. But it's starting
But
to
and
reach the
that's the
level
funny
where,
thing. Like Six Flags America and King's Dominion are pretty close to the same distance for me. Six Flags America is kind of technically a little bit closer. And I've always said King's Dominion is my home park, but guess what? My home park changed.
yeah, he's switching over to the dark side or the light. I mean, it's not that dark, as some people say. They're also,
Especially not with new paint. That's
exactly.
gonna lighten things up.
Yeah, new paint, as long as as well as a new LED lighting package, as well as certain areas. But with that new paint is going to be coming a new paint to the big star of the park, Joker's Jinx, which is highly considered one of the best rides there, and it is a phenomenal ride. And it's really in desperate need of a paint job. I mean, our friend
Yes.
Daniel is a coaster photographer, TP Coaster Photos on Instagram. He got a very close up image of it, and you can just see the paint peeling and rusting, and it's gross, and it is so ready for a new paint job. So
Yeah.
this is a big deal. It's going to look so much. I mean, you think with Apollo's Cherry Busch Gardens Williamsburg, that ride wasn't really that bad. I mean, it was all right. It was needing a paint job, but it was not in this critical of a situation. I mean, and that thing
Well,
now that it's painted it looks so much better now, even though it wasn't even that bad before. But it just lights up. But can you imagine this ride? I don't think it's been touched in like 10 or 15 years in terms of paint, and now we're getting a new paint job, and it's gonna really light up that area, and it's gonna bring out some vibrant colors. It's gonna look
I
really
think
awesome
the
and
thing
stunning.
about Apollo's Chariot was it did really need it. The difference was you had the purple, which was really faded bad, but the supports were actually like they didn't fade too badly. Joker's Jinx is purple and green, and both of those colors fade, and I think that was the reason why it like really needed it.
Yeah, Apollo's definitely needed it, but I'm saying I definitely do not ever recall seeing it peeling like Joker's Jinx has the paint literally peeling off of it and rusting like that. It was definitely faded, very detrimentally, but yeah, I don't think it was ever to the point of this ride where it literally was peeling off, which was it was disgusting to see. If I can pull that image up, if I could show it, and this is a audio podcast, not a visual podcast. I can't visually show you, but. Yeah, it was not good. It reminds me of Georgia Scorcher actually at Six Flags Over Georgia, and that ride was awful. I mean, it was very similar boat where his paint was peeling off, and they actually repainted it a different color. So that's why I'm wondering. I don't think they have really an option to do that with Six Flags America because Joker's Jinx. There's only two really colors the Joker is known for, and that's the purple and the green. But
Yeah,
with Georgia
it
Scorcher, they
definitely-
completely repainted it and made it red and black when it was yellow and black before. So I'm curious to see if they do any new. I don't know. Maybe it'd be cool to see maybe green on purple. You know, like a green track on purple supports. I don't know if they're gonna. I'm sure they're not going to switch it up, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think they'll probably stick to the same though.
Yeah, they probably will. All right, so Universal, moving on from Six Flags America, has confirmed that Super Nintendo World will be the one of the themed lands at its Epic Universe theme park, which we already knew about. That was not really that big of an announcement. That was announced back in 2016. You might have forgotten about it, but that was announced back in 2016. However, it was not officially announced where it would be going in the Universal Orlando Resort. And according to an executive of the park, Nintendo, based on their research, is one of the biggest potential drivers of attendance that you could have for any IP. It's up there with Harry Potter, which drove our incremental attendance of about 2 million people. So they feel very strongly for Nintendo. They think that is one of the largest IPs out there. So yeah, that park is coming to the Epic Universe theme park in Universal Orlando.
I have to agree. The Nintendo IP is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is.
And it's crazy to think that like Mario made his first appearance in an Atari game. Like we're talking before Nintendo had their own system, which came out in '85. On the Atari, there was the Mario Brothers game.
Yeah.
And Mario is still. I'm a competitive pinball player, and the biggest pinball tournament I go to is in Pittsburgh, which is also where my family lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the convention where the tournament is, and I was looking for something small to buy my niece and nephew. And I was like, you know what? I'll buy Mario characters. I really didn't expect them to know who they were. Holy crap, was I wrong? They like, I'm talking, I think my nephew was 3 at the time. Like he started rattling. Like I think I got him the Invincible star, and he's like, "Oh, that's Mario's star." Blah blah blah. I mean, not as plain like he, in 3-year-old language, but like he knew these characters. I was like, "What the like?" It's amazing to me that these characters are still around and still so beloved.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's such a but. We see that all the time. I mean, SpongeBob was in the '90s. There's a lot of things that continue into this generation, but it is surprising to hear like 3 and 4-year-olds. I'm sure of such an old game, but Mario's come a long way, and I definitely can understand the potential that they're seeing behind this IP. I mean, and they've done their research, I'm sure, or they wouldn't obviously be opening a theme park centered around it. So that is very interesting to see that they're going to be doing that. But yeah, I mean that's what's going on. They're going to bring it to the Fourth Gate in Florida, and they're very excited about that, which is exciting. I mean, this is an Epic Universe theme park, which is exciting in general. And
I'm just looking forward to a Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, indeed, I am too. And
they better have.
They definitely better have, and it would be something like what is that ride called out in California? I cannot remember.
Radiator Springs.
Radiator Springs Racers. Yes, that is a really cool looking ride. And I'm sure they could do something very similar to that. And that would be kind of cool because I know with Radiator Springs Racers, it's just that one area. It's just Radiator Springs. You're just driving around Radiator Springs. It would be cool if they did like the different maps of Mario Kart, and you go from map to map, through the ride.
Rainbow Road.
Oh my God! I mean, the lines for that thing. You think Hagrid's was bad? If I had the chance of going through Rainbow Roads, I'm not even. I'm not a big Universal fan. I'm not a big Disney fan. If they did that, I would be waiting 10 hours for that. to be able to ride on Rainbow Road, that's like a childhood. Like I grew up on that map, man.
Yes.
I mean, oh, it would be crazy. Bowser's Castle. Oh my gosh, it would be really. I mean, that's just something they have to do. If they don't do that, they're going to be wasting a lot of
It's
potential
kind
there.
of funny. I mean, obviously, I was a lot older when Rainbow Road was a thing, but like even when I played that game, like I always thought I was like this. Like Rainbow Road is a roller coaster. Like this
Yeah.
is just like this is a roller coaster.
I mean, every map. I mean, there's so many maps they could. Oh man, it's gonna be so fun. I mean, it would even be cool if they had like on some of the maps they had those mud spills. I mean, you hit them, you do like a spin.
Yeah.
They could do that. I mean, there's so much potential here. If they don't
Somebody throwing bananas at you.
throw a banana, you have like a red shell coming after you. Oh my gosh! Somehow they can do like you do a backflip, like when you hit the red shells hit you and you just do a backflip. They have a lot. They have a lot of potential here. I'm really curious to see if they do something. If they don't do something with this, we're gonna have to create our own Nintendo bar. Coaster Talk Podcast presents Nintendo. We're gonna have to do our own little thing here.
Can we build it for like $10.60?
Probably not. We're gonna have to expand the budget a little bit more, but we'll make it
Yeah.
work.
If you're listening to this now, you owe us $273,000.
Per listener, please.
So, moving on to less fun information.
Yeah.
Universal has an interesting situation on their hands. I don't know how
we
many
couldn't
people
build the
remember-
ride. We couldn't build the ride, Bob, with this amount of money. Just we couldn't build our ride with this.
Well, that's very true. That's very true. We'd have to sue for a lot more.
We do. We gotta find a reason. We gotta find a reason to sue.
So I don't know how many people remember last year. Volcano Bay had this incident where people were being shocked in the water, and it took a while for anybody to say, "Oh yeah, we got a problem. We better like tell people to get out." So somebody sued, which was kind of expected, but they sued the park for $15,000, which now granted it could be more. A jury could award more, but they're asking for $15,000, which isn't what you typically see in cases where somebody's just like looking to get rich over something that happened.
Yeah.
Like $15,000 is kind of that's more of covering your medical expenses, really, because I mean, medical care costs a lot of money. And like I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's irrational. But in a response, the park said that the guest did not use reasonable care for her own safety. Last time I checked, if there's a swimming pool, the way to use that is you go in the water, right? Am I correct in that, James?
I'm pretty confident that's correct. Yes.
Okay, so by getting in the water,
do some fact checking for us, anyone listening. But,
yeah. By getting in the water, she wasn't using reasonable care.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear their explanation behind that response. I mean, I'm sure
using
they have
the
some
water park as intended is not using reasonable care.
Yeah.
This is just bizarre to me, like the response and like I don't know. I mean, the whole incident seems weird. I mean, something happened. There was voltage going into the water. There's no way around that. The guest or the park had even said at one article I read, they had said that they had no how was it? They had no responsibility to warn the guests of the danger because they didn't know about the danger. Which, all right, I'll get that logic to an extent, but when this incident occurred,
it's your park's responsibility to find out what's going on in your park. You know, I mean,
right? And that's the thing. At 9 a.m., they had people saying like something doesn't feel right. There's something wrong, and they didn't take any action at all until later that afternoon, when 4 lifeguards went to the hospital. Like, you know, at that point, like if you had evacuated people at 9:30,
yeah,
I'll buy that. You didn't have a responsibility to warn them because you weren't aware of it. Okay. But operating half the day with a suspicion that something might be wrong, without really investigating it.
Not
I don't know.
cool.
This is just a bizarre situation.
Really bizarre. I mean, you think
It doesn't make
15K,
sense.
15K for Universal? How much? I mean, that's like a tear
Right.
in the bucket. Not even. I mean, I feel like it's a rational claim. There's logic being used. I mean, it obviously is not her fault for this incident. And you think this would be kind of settled. Do you think they'd be like, yeah, 15K, that's all you want? All right. I don't feel like that's too much to ask for,
And
especially
like this,
especially when it makes sense. If this was like some outlandish case, like she had brought in some sort of electronic device and therefore, it electrically shocked her and that, something like that, obviously that's
right.
irrational. But I
And
mean,
I
it was
mean,
their
like,
responsibility for her safety and they
if there was like some live wire laying on the ground and the lady's like, "Oh, let me go grab that," like, okay, then yeah, that's not using reasonable care. But like, she got in the water. I mean, it's a water park. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you did that at, like, I don't know, Kennywood, you climbed in the fountain. All right, like, you're
You're
not
in
using reasonable
you're
care. I
taking
get it.
doing like a lap in the International Street Fountains at King's Dominion. That makes sense.
Right, right, exactly.
There's
Like,
lights. There's lights and fountains and wires in there. That makes sense. But when you're in a water park, what is meant for swimming, what is meant for human
exactly,
activity, you cannot.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's just it's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this plays out and how, like, hopefully we hear about what happens.
Yeah,
It's bizarre to me how, like, it's almost like Universal's like trying harder than I've ever seen a park try to like ignore something ever happened.
yeah,
And that's kind of like, that's what like kind of frightens me in a sense. Is like, if they're this scared about this being like, if they want to like hide this much, it kind of makes me feel like there may be a lot more to this story than
it meets the eye.
like
Yeah.
than anybody even remotely knows.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. We'll keep you guys up to date on this story and see if anything else happens. I really hope we do. I hope this isn't just a story that falls off and we never hear about it again. But hopefully we hear some more of that. But getting back into some more positive theme park news, somewhat positive because this actually could be somewhat of a negative thing depending on where you're coming from. Cedar Fair is going to release their quarter four and full year results for 2019 on February 19th, 2020. That isn't actually that positive, but it could be. It's probably going to be pretty negative.
Yeah,
Especially,
this will be interesting to see.
yeah, it will be. I don't know. That's just a quick little tad bit out there. I don't know. I'm assuming it'll probably be lower than they expected because that seems to be the trend with Cedar Fair. I don't know though.
I mean, I still have this feeling that like things with Cedar Fair are going to look really, really good from a like financial standpoint for the next few years, because their focus is on that. I'm just afraid that focus is what's going to cause the experience to suffer.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. But I mean,
although now, if this is a negative result, if everything is low, then maybe they'll decide, oh wait, this isn't working.
Maybe Volcano should make a reintroduction.
Yeah.
Let's not get onto that. All right, but speaking of something new and something positive again, I know I said that last time. That wasn't really that positive, but back into Cedar Fair and Kings Island actually has announced that Orion, the track installation for Orion, is now fully complete. So they installed the last piece, which I believe was like part of the brake run. I don't know. I believe that's what was the last piece. But yeah, I mean that's coming up, and also I'm going to add in there that we are most likely going to be attending Orion Media Day. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to be checking out that new ride. And I know we have listeners in Ohio, so if anybody wants to join the Coaster Talk podcast gang or say hi or whatever, we'll be up there. That's going to be fun.
And you can actually, there is the Kings Island is currently doing a their auction. Well, it's not really an auction.
Yeah, first rider auction.
Yeah, the first rider. They call it the first rider auction, but it's basically raising money, and whoever raises the most amount of money gets like the first seats. But it's going to be an event the evening of Media Day, I believe, where everybody that raised at least $150 actually gets to go in and ride. Everybody will get to ride, maybe not the first ride, but
yeah, which is kind of funny. We technically will be the first riders, even though the first ride. I feel kind of
but that I guess that would be the first public riders.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
technically, like we're not the first riders. People in the park and B&M
And
and
then yeah, and then even not even they were. The
they
testers
rode
were.
before us for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right. Well, that's
But
gonna be fun. It's charity. It's a good cause, and I know who would want to ride this. It doesn't matter if it's really the true first ride or not. You're gonna be
yeah,
one of the
but
first.
if you can't make any of those, then it's April 11th. That will be the day that they open. They announce that.
To the public. Yeah. All right. Well, that is some exciting things going on with Kings Island. That's gonna be a fun coaster. Whether or not you call it a giga or not is up to you. But
It's a giga.
it's a giga. It's a giga. Um, moving on to Santa Monica Pier, they're doing a makeover of their route. Or what is it? It's called West Coaster now.
It's Santa Monica West
West
Coaster
Coaster,
right
Santa
now.
Monica West Coaster, and they're renaming it, retheming it completely to Route 66 West Coaster. So it's getting like a 50s kind of like the trains are getting revamped to look like a 50s, almost like a Corvette or a Cadillac or something like an old, like nice
Yeah,
sports car.
an old touring car.
Yeah, and I think they're getting some new like theming elements, like you said, billboards and stuff like that.
Yeah, a
So
lot of vintage billboards and stuff that takes you back to the old Route 66 across the
yeah,
U.S.
so this is an exciting thing because this is a Morgan, and it is a older more like what is it 1996 you said
Yeah,
96.
96.
So it's somewhat of an older coaster, and it's an interesting coaster. If you look it up, I mean, a lot of you might know this, but it's actually if you play the game, any of you play the game, because you might be like trying to think about what kind of coaster this is. I had not really recollected what kind of coaster this was or what it was, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, holy crap, this is the game GTA Grand Theft Auto. They based their roller coaster in that game off of this roller coaster. So if any of you play that game, I know we have somewhat of a roller coaster in gaming. Sometimes they correlate a lot of gamers like roller coasters and stuff like that. So I don't know, but that's an interesting tidbit there. But it's not that great of a ride really. I mean, it's like 60 feet tall, 35 miles an hour. But it is interesting that they're going to be doing this theme. I really do. I think this revamping of the theme will really help this coaster. I don't know if they're going to be repainting it or anything like that. That is yet to be seen. But definitely a makeover of this coaster is going to look great. And I'm excited to get out to California one day and hop on it and see how cool it is. I do love when rides like this that don't do much, when they have really good theming, sometimes it almost makes up for
Yeah.
the no.
And I mean, honestly, Morgan and Chance both, like, I don't know, they kind of make simple little things more fun than you think they are. I mean, I wouldn't expect this to be a Still Force or Phantom's Revenge or anything like that, but, you look at it and you go, what? But you
Yeah, I
might
mean,
find that it has more fun than you think.
I will agree with that with like when we talk about like Lightning Run or something like that. Good Lightning Run's Chance, but that's still like Chance Morgan. I will agree with that when we're
Yeah.
talking about that kind of ride. I mean, still, even then, that ride, 55, 60 miles an hour, 100, 200, 120 feet tall. It's just the stats on this ride. If you look at this ride, it starts off, it goes through like a helix, then it goes down like a short, like 40-foot drop, then it goes up like 1 time hill, and then it goes through another helix. It's just nothing to the ride. It's not that I'm saying like, oh no, Morgan can't build good coasters. Their stuff sucks. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's not much there to do with it. But I am interested. I think the theme will really revamp this and really help it out in the future.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well,
Theming's underlooked, or theming's people don't pay attention to
yeah,
theming enough.
theming is it's definitely underappreciated, and it's something that really, really can be a hit or miss for a ride. Um, but yeah, moving on to SeaWorld parks. Actually, we're talking about San Diego and Antonio. SeaWorld San Diego announced that Emperor, their B&M dive coaster, which I don't know how you feel about this name. I don't know if I liked Mako. I know we already had a Mako, so that makes sense why they changed it. But it's now called Emperor, and I don't know which I prefer. I think I might prefer Mako actually, even though I know that was like a clone and everything like that.
Because I don't want to see SeaWorld Park start doing the Six Flags game.
Yeah, and I think that's what they realized. They were like, "Yeah, we can't do that. That doesn't really look cool." And they use the exact same logo too. If it had been like a different logo, maybe, but to use the exact same logo was kind of bad.
Because I hate when you say like, "Oh, I went to ride Goliath."
Yes, I hate that.
I went to ride Pandemonium.
Oh,
No, like which
you,
one? I
yeah.
went to ride Batman.
Oh God.
God.
Superman. Yeah, it's not fun. So I don't think it's a bad name. Emperor's a good replacement for what they had, especially because it makes sense. Like the penguins are jumping off the side of the like iceberg and jumping into the water, so it makes sense. But the track is complete, and the first train has been loaded onto the track, which is exciting news. That looks like a pretty fun dive coaster. It's one of the smaller models, but it does. I think it has somewhat of more layout. I think it has a couple. What does it have? 3 or 4 inversions instead of just the traditional 2. So that's exciting. And so yeah, I think this is the first 8-seater dive coaster that we have in the U.S. We've had all the 10-seaters. We've had Valraven, which is 10 across, Griffin 10 across, Sheikah's 10 across. I believe that's what this is. This is like the smaller model. This might even be the 6 across. It's something. It's a
Does it
smaller
have
model.
floorless trains?
It does have the floorless trains.
It does.
Yeah.
Huh. So this is this going to be the first 8 across floorless?
No, and in Europe they have a couple. I think Valkyria in I don't remember what park that's at actually. Leesburg. Yeah, that has a that has the 8 across, but I believe this is the first just in the United States because I know they do have yeah.
I mean, I know there are definitely 8 across seating, but those had
No,
the floor.
Valkyria definitely has the floorless trains, so I'm sure that is so that this will be the first in the U.S. to have that. But then moving on to SeaWorld San Antonio, their new coaster Texas Stingray has announced that it's going to be opening February 29th. So pretty soon actually. I'll actually be in Texas when this ride's opening. I will not be riding it, but I'm most likely going to be in Texas. This is a big, I'm not going to really talk about this yet because it's to be determined. But there's a good chance I'll be in Texas when this is opening. Sadly, I won't be able to ride it. I'll get down to Texas and ride it again, or I'll get down to SeaWorld San Antonio. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's amazing how quickly this ride has been. It's ready. I mean, it's 1 month and it's gonna be up. It's pretty crazy. Not even a month. So yeah, this is the SeaWorld's
Looks
really
like a lot of fun.
yeah, it does. It looks like one of the better GCIs, honestly.
I don't think it'll be a Mystic Timbers, but
I think it has a chance of being like that. I think it has a chance of getting up there.
you can't beat Mystic Timbers.
I don't know about beating, but it'll be up there.
Right. I think it may get close. I don't think it's going to beat Mystic Timbers, but it could get close.
We shall see. We shall see. Moving on to the next segment now, where we're going to talk about a big trip we just went on, Bob, to Hershey, Pennsylvania. The Ace Event East Coaster just took place,
and chocolate.
Yeah, we were attendees of this year's East Coaster event, and we're going to talk about that on Coaster Craze.
Coaster Craze.
Coaster Craze. You go to town on that keyboard.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of my life.
It's like a...
What do you do? Hunt and peck?
All right. Okay, there we go. You ready?
Hold on 1 second.
1.
What are you, 5?
I'm 5 plus 11.
All right.
All right, you ready?
I said all right.
Okidoka. All right, here we go. So yes, you heard us correctly. We traveled up to Hershey, Pennsylvania this past weekend to attend the Ace Event East Coaster, which was a non-riding event. Obviously, we're not riding.
Except I got to ride.
Except Bob got to ride. Yeah, Bob did get to ride. What was it? Reese's Cup Fusion the night before the event. Sadly, I was not able to attend that due to having a responsibility known as school.
Boo.
But it was an exciting
cool,
event. Yeah, I'm sure. And this was an exciting event.
Everything.
Yeah, and this was an exciting event because we had so many parks come and talk to us, and also we had a coaster manufacturer, or not even a manufacturer at this point, but they deal with trains and stuff like that. PTC came, but we talked to a lot of parks that I didn't even think were going to be there. I did not have any recollection that Holiday World was going to be there, but they made an appearance, which is really cool. And we're going to talk first about Six Flags Great Adventure though, in that park, which they were talking about Jersey Devil, which was exciting. That's a big new coaster for 2020. They really pressed that Jersey Devil's going to have a late summer opening. They
Yes.
really drove that into our heads. And then we
Yes.
talked about that on this podcast because that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking a prediction of a late summer opening because that's what Six Flags traditionally does, and that kind of is. I think it's a little unfair to promote the whole season, because they're promoting 2020 as this big new coaster, but late summer, you're pretty much cutting out. You're not gonna be able to ride Jersey Devil during the spring. You're not gonna be able to ride it during the summer until pretty much fall. You're not gonna be able to ride this because late summer is pretty much Labor Day. Memorial
Yeah,
Day. So that's like the end of summer. So that's basically fall. It's basically school starting again, and so
at
you're
least they're telling us though.
for one half of the whole year you're not riding the coaster. At least they're telling us. Yeah, I know with West Coast Racers they promoted
I
a
mean,
whole
and this
freaking
is what I
year,
said
never even
before.
opened.
When we talked about this before, like that was my complaint. It's not so much that it's opening late; it's that they give you false hope. But in this case, they're not really like they're flat out saying like this. So I know
I agree.
I'm not going to plan to go in March, April, May, June.
Yeah, but I think for the pass
And then I'll
holders, I mean, you
start thinking
can't
maybe
promote a
July.
whole. You're promoting a whole year. 2020 is this big year of Jersey Devil, and it's not even going to be opening until halfway through the year's over. That's not cool. I think when you open up a new ride, you need to have it open by not. I'm not saying you have to have it open by opening day, but you got to have it open in spring. Come on, I mean that's just like most parks. That's like the deadline is spring. You got to open it in spring. It's always
Yeah,
spring 2020 is when we're opening it. Sometimes they'll push it to summer, but that's every once in a while. But Six Flags is it's like a trend for them. They never open
I
up a
think
ride.
as long as you set your expectations, it is what it is.
Yeah, I disagree. I think you got it. I think that's just. I know that when you say Six Flags, you're paying for what you get. Um, but I don't care what quality park or how much you're paying or whatever. You have to deliver on that. That is something that's very important. You cannot promote an entire year, have flyers, have promotional stuff up, and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, that's not even going to be open. Because general public don't go and check the website and make sure it's. Half the people are probably gonna go there and think, oh, it's open, and it's not gonna be open. It's not gonna be.
Yeah, but really, like you said, this is kind of a thing with Six Flags. I mean,
I
we're
know.
kind of at a point where this is kind of expected. People aren't really planning.
No, I guarantee you, general public will be expecting this ride, and for enthusiasts, yeah, obviously not
But
that
the
big of a
general
concern.
public isn't going to be as upset as us.
I
I'm not saying they won't be
I
upset, but they're not going to like, I don't know, scream on YouTube. Well, maybe they will.
they might.
People
They
love
very much might. On other social
but
media, maybe Instagram. Maybe they'll give a rant on Instagram or Twitter. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that they're gonna create like a drama or anything like that or create a situation, but I mean, you can't give. It is a little bit of false hope, and in a sense, because for enthusiasts, of course, we know, we research, we check, we make sure we know when the rides are going to open. We hear the park talk to us. But these general public people, they see the promotional information. 2020, Jersey Devil, the year of Jersey Devil, the year of the Devil. Come ride it. It's awesome. 2020, big year. On their promotional advertising, it doesn't say
but
opening late spring, summer 2020. It says opening
in
2020. That is just false. I just think they need to at least specify on their promotional information it's not opening until late summer 2020. Because when you just say opening 2020, that normally means it's opening in the spring because that's normally when parks open their rides.
yeah, but in reality though, like I mean, most of the general public aren't even thinking of coasters right now. They're not like it's not going to be until spring, and like that's going to be the time where if as long as they're putting at that point they're saying it's coming in July or something like that. Um, I mean, you're not like people won't be upset. They just won't expect it. I mean,
I don't know. I just think it's a bad business strategy to do this. It's kind of false advertising in a sense. Hopefully by like spring they will have July whatever blah blah blah. But I think to start off, you can't have a coaster saying opening 2020 because I mean with Busch Gardens they're opening at spring. Hershey Park's planning on opening their ride spring. Spring is just the trend for theme parks. That's when you want to open it. You want to open it
yeah, we'll be
ASAP.
busy with those parks though.
Yeah, we will be, and I'm not complaining. I don't. I will be getting to Six Flags Great Adventure probably in October or September, so it'll most definitely be open when I hopefully get up there and ride it. But I mean, I mean, they even have an Ace event. They have an Ace event called like Riding of the Devil or whatever, like in June after CoasterCon, the day after CoasterCon. That ride's not going to be open in June. There's no way. Six Flags is definitely not going to have that open by June.
No way.
I guarantee you that. I mean, if that ride is open in June, when they're saying late summer opening, that'll be the first time Six Flags is ever over.
They never actually said late summer. They said summer 2020.
No, they said
they
late
were
summer.
pushing the summer 2020.
No, because they were like, when is it going to open? When is it going to open? When is it going to open? They were like, they said at the very end, they said late summer most likely. That is our prediction. So.
I don't remember them saying late summer.
They said late summer. I'm 100% confident.
I remember them saying summer.
They said late summer. I'm 100% confident in that. And that's just. I mean, they can't theme an Ace event to that as well. It's just really weird. It's strange what they're doing with this ride. But let's move on, please, to more positive avenue.
Well, wait. First, you missed the interesting information off on your rant. They did announce it was going to be 12 person trains, so they're going to be the longest trains.
Yeah.
And they said that they are going to be running 4 trains on this at a time.
And there's a bar themed to Jersey Devil. Yay.
And what?
There's a bar for our older listeners. There's a bar themed to Jersey Devil. So, yay. All right, moving on. Holiday World. A park that me and Bob probably both think is the greatest park in the country. At least I do. I definitely think
Indeed. I think it's up there.
It's up there. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's the best.
Maybe.
They came to. They had the best presentation too. Their Prezi was really cool. They were talking to us about a lot of different avenues of what they're doing. They talked about Cheetah Chase, their new for 2020 water coaster. Which really looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many parks that I honestly look forward to the water park, and this is one of the only parks that I actually, when I go to Hollywood Nights, am actually looking forward to the water park ERT. Just as much as riding Voyage. I want to ride Cheetah Chase, I want to ride Wild Louise, and I want to ride Mammoth.
I'm with you on that, except for a little asterisk. The fact that they said the water is being stored underground and it's going to be really, really cold.
Yeah.
Last year,
it was freezing.
Wildebeest. It was cold. It was dang cold.
But it was fun. It was worth it.
It was fun, but oh my God, if it's gonna it better be hot. It better be so hot when we go.
We'll thank the gods, man. It'll be awesome. Okay. But they also were talking about how they're doing like the most extensive track work on Voyage that they've done in a long time. So this is I believe it was like 800 or 1,000 something like that feet of track that they are actually removing and replacing. Which is,
it was something like that.
Oh man,
that was followed by last year. They did a lot.
Yeah, last year they did like 500 or 600, I believe. This year it's like 800 or 1,000. So
they basically said we should expect this to be running like it was when it first opened
in 2006. Yeah, they were like, you guys loved it last year. Just wait till this year, pretty much. I mean, how can that ride get better? It can't get better.
Oh my God, it's so.
Oh my God, I mean,
why can't I go ride it now?
Yeah, it needs to be. The anticipation is literally, like, I know this is a figure of speech, but it is literally killing me.
I'm getting butterflies in my stomach just thinking of Voyage.
Oh my gosh. I am too. I mean, we just talked about Jersey Devil, which is going to be one of the better roller coasters of 2020. We're going to be talking about a lot. This is the only coaster that I'm actually like, almost like, drooling over. Like, oh my gosh.
I know. I'm so excited for Pantheon, but holy crap, track work on Voyage.
Screw
it, man.
I honestly would be up. I mean, I would just say screw Pantheon and ride Voyage. I mean, I'm just so like, I gotta get on it. It has to happen. Oh man, I mean, it's and I keep getting updates from my one of my friends, and he keeps posting. It was like a couple of weeks ago. It was like 100 days till Hollywood Nights, and I'm like, oh, that just seems too long.
Whoa.
100 days? No.
Well, that means we're into the double digits now.
Yeah, we are in the double digits now. Probably like 80 or 670 or something like that. But that still seems like, that's just, that's too long.
That's long.
It's too long. But Hollywood Nights 2020 is going to be themed around, what is it going to be?
The Nights That Say We.
The Nights That Say We, yes. Which is a Monty Python and the Holy Grail spin, which is awesome, because that's a great movie. I drew a little bit of a blank there, but we're back on track now. Pun intended, back on track. Maybe I just got refurbished by Holiday World. But yeah, that looks like a really cool event. I definitely am a huge fan of their themes, how they do that. I really think that's really cool. I love how they like play the music, like soundtrack for the movie throughout the park.
Yeah.
I like how the staff will like literally have name tags themed around that event. I mean, they really make it about the enthusiast. A lot of parks just do this, and they kind of do it in secret. Like, yeah, Ace is over here. You get the little picnic pavilion in the back. Holiday World's like, Ace is here. Look, there's signs everywhere. Welcome, Ace. We love Ace.
Hey,
Ace is
here's the
great.
park. Have
It's
fun.
Yeah, exactly. What park lets you stay in the? I mean, Six Flags Great Adventure, they let you stay for 2 hours and ride El Toro. That's cool. But this park literally stays open. The entire park stays open for us after 8 o'clock, and we get 4 hours of ERT in the park. You can
What is
ride
it? Like
all the major
1
coasters.
a.m.?
Yeah, 1 a.m. in the morning. It's in one day it's 1 a.m. and one day it's 12, I believe. But either way, it's still
Yeah.
like crazy. We get the entire park basically. We get all the major thrill rides, and sometimes they even throw in some fly rides the second day. I
Yeah.
mean, we get everything. It's crazy. It's amazing.
They're so awesome. They like they're like when you're there, they are into this just as much as the enthusiasts. I
Yeah.
mean, like
I
they
mean,
they are just loving this event just as much
the
as we are.
Voyage staff. I mean, I remember they were like till the very last ride of the night. They were every time someone rolled in the station. How was that ride? Yeah, clapping it up with us. I mean, it was
I
crazy.
know, like
Normally, when you go to any other Ace event, it's just like, all right, enjoy your ride. Yep. All right, see ya. But there, it's like they are going crazy. They are like, get your hands up, come on, clap. I mean, they are getting into it, and it's and you think I'm over exaggerating, you think I'm overhyping, you think I'm biased because I love this, but whatever. I am not even joking. I wish I
well,
was joking. I mean, I'm
in
not
that
joking.
regard, what other park actually makes modifications to the ride for Ace or for enthusiasts? Because it's
Exactly.
not just Ace; it's other coaster clubs as well.
They strictly tell us, we are doing this because we want you guys to love this ride, and it's going to be just like it was when it opened. That's for us. And what ride turns off their trim brakes and does all this different stuff for? I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome. They run it. I mean, they have the trim brakes on there for a reason, and they run it without trim brakes for the enthusiasts because that's how much they like us. That's how much they care for us. It's amazing.
Well, that and I think the general public would probably die.
the the general public would have, yeah, everyone would be having like every other ride there'd be someone having a stroke. But yeah, I think that's our Holiday World rant for now. It's a great park. It was really interesting to hear what they had to say about Voyage and everything like that. And Hollywood Nights 2020 is going to be an exceptional event. If you're listening to this and you have any chance of getting out to that event, it is definitely necessary. Definitely a must do. Moving on to Dollywood, which is another fantastic park. I would say right up there with Holiday World. It's a very good park, themed very well. The
I
employees
want
are really
raisin
great.
bread right now.
Yeah,
Can I
what?
get some raisin bread?
Yes, cinnamon bread.
Yes, that
Cinnamon bread.
cinnamon bread.
Yeah,
Yeah,
raisin bread. I don't know about
don't
bread. I
mind
was
me.
like raisin bread. Wait a second. I don't
Cinnamon
think
bread.
that.
Who has the raisin bread? Somebody has raisin bread.
Someone does. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who, but the cinnamon bread at Dollywood is out of this world.
Oh
It is.
God, it's
Oh,
amazing.
it is
It's
crazy
like
good.
what if we put like cinnamon bread in Holiday World next to Voyage?
Oh my. Oh,
Like the world would be complete.
that would. I would never leave. I would sleep on the pathways. I'd wake up, get my free soda, get a piece of cinnamon bread, and ride Voyage. I mean, that would be crazy. That would be the life. I don't care if
It
I die.
would.
I mean, I died at a young age because of all that sugar and and
And
adrenaline.
it wouldn't matter because we'd die happy.
We would die happier than anyone's ever died. I mean, that would be the greatest. Oh, yeah. But Dollywood didn't really have much to talk about other than their 2020, their 2019, what they did with Wildwood Grove and everything like that. We got a recap of their 2019 season, which was a great success. They have acclaimed that's a great success. Wildwood Grove looked fantastic. I did not get to go to Dollywood. I was really planning on getting to Dollywood this year, but did not get to go down. I'll get down there this year most likely. I would really like to get to their Christmas event because they did talk about that, and that looks really exceptional.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get down there for that, and they keep all their coasters open, so there's a win-win right there. Um, it would be really cool to hit like in January too. I believe they're open to like the first week of January, so you could even get down there in January, even when it's technically
Yeah.
off
They're
season.
almost a year-round park.
Yeah, exactly. So even when
I
it's
think they closed for like a month and a half or something.
yeah, something crazy like that. So they didn't really. That was really much. They didn't really talk about much. They did talk about the roller coaster museum, which was interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how the roller coaster museum continues to grow. It's kind of, I mean, the collection that they were showing some slides, and like the collection that they've accumulated is pretty spectacular. And I think they were adding something like 20,000 more square feet of
Yeah,
warehouse
they were.
space. And they're working on trying to get things set up to have more public visitation. There are instances where you can go see it. I know Ace does an event there.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to know that these things are being preserved, even if the
Yes.
public can't easily see them right now. Just the fact that these things aren't being thrown away; they're actually being
Not being used for scrap
saved.
metal. Yeah. This is
You can go see the volcano train.
it is crucial to have to preserve history of roller coasters.
Yes,
I mean, because without history, there would be no future. I mean, that's true for anything. So
that's very true.
it's
I mean,
very
you look at this industry; it wouldn't. I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere near what we have right now if it wasn't for like aerodynamics. They've been out of business for 2 decades, but like they're
PTC. I mean, yeah, it's
Schwarzkopf.
Schwarzkopf, PTC. There's so many people that we rely upon and that brought us to where we are today, and you can't just forget about those guys. But yeah, that's what Dollywood talked about, and it was really interesting and really cool to see updates from the Roller Coaster Museum. But the keynote speaker, I would say, for the whole day was, of course, the park that we were at, Hershey Park. I mean, there were other great speakers as well that we'll talk about coming up as well. But I think obviously the highlight of the day probably was talking with the park about the park that we were actually at, which was Hershey Park. Hershey Park talked about their new for 2020 editions, which is Chocolate Town, a brand new area of the park at the very front entrance, which looks really, really cool. Really, really
Yes.
awesome. The new entrance is going to be great. They have new shops, new dining experiences, stuff like that they haven't really announced yet because they can't. I believe they're on like a schedule, a set schedule when they're going to be releasing everything. I believe there's like every couple months they release a certain amount of information. So they were telling us that there are a lot of cool dining experiences, stuff like that overlook this new area, but they couldn't really specify what. But they were like, I believe one of the things they said was like, think breakfast foods. There's gonna be a breakfast restaurant. I remember
Yeah,
that was
and it's
interesting.
I really love how the front entrance has like like they showed us how there's a lot of restaurants and shopping experiences where it's like there's a front and back entrance, so you can enter from in the park or from outside of the park. So you don't have to actually be going to Hershey Park to actually stop by and grab lunch or
Yeah,
shop for Hershey stuff, or it's kind of a
it
neat
is.
thing you don't really see.
Yeah, it's very cool, and because that town really revolves around Hershey, so it's cool that they're gonna
Yeah.
have. You
Well,
don't
I
have
mean,
to.
if you haven't been there, even the street lights in the town of Hershey are Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah, I mean, Bob and me actually, and a couple of our friends went out afterwards to dinner, and you're walking through the parking lot of this restaurant, and I look over and I'm like, wait a second, Great Bear that's Great Bear right there. We're standing next to Great Bear. I mean, it's so crazy how like this town is literally built on this park. So that's an interesting thing that they're actually going to allow people to do that because I'm 100% sure that people will be stopping by Hershey a lot, even if they're not going to the park to ride the rides and to do all that stuff. They'll be stopping by, getting merch, eating dinner. It's a great thing for them. They're going to definitely make some revenue off of that, which I know that's what they want. So it's a smart idea to allow that to happen. They also talked about Candemonium, their new for 2020 attraction, which actually, if you go to the YouTube channel of Coaster Talk Podcast, we went the next morning, me and a couple of my friends, and we went out to Hershey Park
I
and
was still
actually,
sleeping.
yeah, Bob was still sleeping, missed out on that great opportunity. But we actually, and I'll tell you this, and this is probably not the best thing to say on here, but I don't care because this is my podcast. We actually were so close to the ride. They had, I don't even know, this is unsafe. So we drove up to Hershey Park, all right? You get this? So we drove up. We drove through the front gate. We go through the. There's no one at the ticket booth, so we just drive by, and we drive up to like I guess this is the employee kind of entrance. It's not really the actual employee lot because there's a different employee lot. This is like another employee entrance, I guess. And there's like a little building there, and right there is Candemonium standing right in front of you. And there's a gate, a huge gate, and it's just open. And you could have me and people we could have just walked right down and gone up to the Candemonium Construction Site. I mean, I kid you not, we could walk straight into the Candemonium site. Obviously didn't. Unsafe. Would never even dream of doing that. That breaks a lot of. I mean, that's not smart. But I mean, I'm telling you, that was crazy how close we got to that ride. I mean, we're still technically, allowed to because we were standing on the park property and stuff like that. So we weren't. It was crazy how close we got to that ride. And then we also went on the actual main road of Hershey and got some shots of it. It was a really cool experience, and it was really cool to see. That ride actually looks really great. I had before been thinking like, it's just it didn't. When I envisioned it, I was like, it seems like it's gonna be a smaller B&M Hyper, and I mean, man, it looks really crazy. It looks really good, and I'm really, really looking
It
forward
does
to it.
look like a really fun ride.
It's a lot more exciting than I thought it would be. I like seeing it up close and in person. I was like, it's a lot larger than I thought it would be. I just when I heard the stats and stuff, I was like, it just doesn't seem like that large of a coaster, but it is, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Dorney Park. Um, they kind of discussed. I mean, all these parks were discussing CoasterCon because that's what's happening up in Pennsylvania in 2020, which I will be attending, and I know Bob will be as well. So Dorney Park kind of announced some things like small little things like events that are returning. Their Carnival thing is returning, whatever that's called. I'm not 100% sure. What is that? What is that
Yeah,
called again?
I
Grand
Carnival.
Carnival. Grand Carnival.
Yeah,
Whatever that
that's
is.
what
They
it
have
is.
it at Kings Dominion too, but then they said like Thunder Speedway might come back, things like that. So small events. They also talked about Orion at Kings Island. There really wasn't much to their stuff. I mean, it was an interesting presentation for sure. They showed us some historical photos of like Thunder Hawk and stuff like that. It was a good presentation. There wasn't really much news to it, not really much to discuss there, but it was an interesting presentation.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a lot of fun just to listen to parks talk. I mean, even if they don't have anything new to report, like just sharing some interesting facts and just
Yeah,
history and going over some stuff that could be entertaining.
I mean, it was a good long presentation, especially for you think they didn't really release anything important, but it's not always about that. It's sometimes about learning about the park more, and we definitely did that. So it's always good that they could have just come up there and been like, yeah, we're not really getting anything new. Here is what we're getting in 2020. It's like two things. All right, bye. But they didn't do that. They were like, hey, but this is our history, and this is what's coming up in CoasterCon, and blah 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 blah. It was a lot better than just doing a couple of updates and that's it, which is great. And then we talked with Kennywood, who talked about their Steelers country section of the park. So if you don't know, Steel Curtain opened up, and I believe like a gift shop opened up, and that was all that opened for
Yeah,
Steelers
the
country
exit
this year.
stop.
Yeah, and that's all that opened this year at Steelers country. But 2020 is going to bring the whole new area to the park. They're doing, I believe they're pretty close to finishing it up. They said they were hoping to open it up with the park opening, I believe. They're just adding a couple of like almost like an adventure like area of the Steelers country where you're going to be doing like 30-yard dash, and there's going to be like a little like playground, and there's going to be timing. I believe there's a thing where you can like line up and take a picture with the other Steelers, and it's going to be like holograms or something like that. So there's a lot of cool opportunities to be involved in the Steelers organization, other than just ride the coaster theme of the Steelers. Now you can actually run a 30-yard dash and compare yourself to whoever, whatever running back you want or whatever, who's part of the Steelers organization. It's just really cool that they incorporated a
Yeah,
lot more than just a roller coaster theme to the Steelers. They're actually going full force and are theming a whole other area, a whole section of the
and
park to that.
I love the terrible tower. I just love the name.
Yeah, that is a really cool
That's
tower.
a kids play area that's going to be
Yeah,
in Stiller's country.
yeah, that's a great name. It's a really interesting concept. We've never seen anything like this in a theme park, and I was kind of joking around because he was like, maybe we'll let the Acers get some ERT on that, and I'm like, I can just imagine some 50-year-old overweight uh, coach enthusiast doing a 30-yard dash. I just can't wait to see that. Getting ERT on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's immediately what I thought of when he said get ERT on that. I'm like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But maybe. But yeah, Kennywood is it's a very interesting concept they're dealing with here. I think it's great IP. I know that a lot of people were like, "How can you theme?" I mean, but Kennywood is so involved in their community, so this is a fair.
And
Um,
that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand how much a part of Pittsburgh the Steelers are.
yeah,
I mean, it's not your. I think Green Bay is probably the only other town that might come close. And I mean, people try to tell me all the time, like, "Oh, well, Dallas is all about the Cowboys," and it's like, Yeah, but no, not really. It's not the same. Pittsburgh it's a very different thing when it comes to the Steelers.
It's like a family. It's like, I mean, it
Yeah,
is. It is. It is. They are blood, sweat, and tears up there. Even people that don't really care about sports care about the Steelers. I mean,
I hate football. I love this. I mean,
exactly.
I grew up in Pittsburgh. That's just in my blood.
It's
It's
just yeah, I agree. So Kennywood, they're dealing with some great IP. I mean, it's going to be phenomenal, especially from a Steelers fan. I love it, and even from non-Steelers fans, you got to realize that Pittsburgh is again, it's blood, sweat, and tears of the Steelers. So it makes a lot of sense for a park, especially a regional park. You know, people are like, people that travel out of state aren't going to understand the affiliation. And I'm like, but the majority of their people coming to Kennywood are Pittsburghians, and
right.
they are for the Steelers. You know, I mean, that they are 100% for the Steelers. Then that's going to resonate with them. I mean, if Busch Gardens was like, we're going to theme a ride to the Redskins, I'd be like, that's weird. I mean, that's different, but I mean, somewhat. Or Six Flags America, we can even say because they're closer to the DC. That would be like, kind of weird. But with this park, it's so much more. You know, I don't know if I can explain it any better than that, but
Yeah, it's a Pittsburgh thing. It's not a. I mean, that's the thing. It's like this isn't a coaster enthusiast thing. This isn't a theme park thing. This is a Pittsburgh thing.
exactly.
Hands down, this is a Pittsburgh thing.
I agree. So Dutch Wonderland also came and they talked about CoasterCon as well, which we're gonna. I believe it's a half a day we're gonna spend at Dutch Wonderland, which is interesting. The thing that they talked about that I was very excited about and actually might consider staying in this place while we're there is the Cartoon Network Hotel that they just opened up.
Yes.
At Dutch Wonderland. I mean, man, if you are not even if you're not even a fan of Cartoon Network, but if you've seen the shows, whatever, it's just an awesome idea what they're doing. They're theming their rooms, they're theming their food, they're theming the entire. I mean, obviously, the entire hotel is around Cartoon Network, and they're gonna have. I believe they said like holograms and stuff like that, where you're gonna be interacting with the characters. They have a water park or some sort of like. I believe they have like it's not a water park. I know we talked about this before. It's not a water park, but it's like they have a large indoor pool with like a slide or two.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting. It looks great.
And it's actually open now too.
It is open now.
You're going to Lancaster and you want somewhere to stay.
Somewhere cool.
Check out the Cartoon Network Hotel.
It looks so cool, and you get to like pick your theme of the room that you want to stay in. I believe they have like We Bare Bears, Adventure Time. I think that might.
Yeah, they said there were 4 different ones, but I can't remember all 4.
Powerpuff Girls is one. We Bare Bears, Steven Universe, and Adventure Time. Those are the 4. And I was like, how can you not have Regular Show? But they said they're going to be working on getting some more IPs up there. Because Regular Show was probably the greatest Cartoon Network show. And then someone also suggested an Adult Swim section, which would be fantastic. That would really... And he was like, yeah, I might have to consider doing that.
Yeah, he was all for that.
I mean, you think, you got Rick and Morty, Family Guy, American Dad. That would be a big IP for them. That would be really cool. And that could be like the Adult Suite. And it's also interesting because I believe in some of the bunk beds they have built-in TVs, so you get to watch...
each bunk has its own TV.
So you get to watch, go to bed watching some Cartoon Network, which is great, and I love that. So Dutch Wonderland is a great park. They didn't really add that much for 2019, and they're not really.
They said they were.
They're
going to do some paint on Kingdom Coaster.
Yeah, they did.
Which was Sky Princess.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all that they were talking about.
But you go to Dutch Wonderland for Merlin's Mayhem.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for that. I'm gonna be doing that this year for CoasterCon. Bob's really hyped it up. I'm sure I'm gonna get on it and be like,
such a fun coaster.
I am 100% sure I'm gonna get off this and be like, Bob, what the heck? I was expecting like insane, and I have this huge expectation set for this, so it's gonna have to exceed them. But yeah, the big presentation of the day, and the one that Bob was talking about the most going into this event was Knoebels. And it did not disappoint. It was a fun. They did some very great commentary of their rides. Dick Knoebel is one of my favorite people in the industry. He's hilarious. He's
amazing.
He tells some great stories. And we get to learn some cool things. Phoenix is getting a new station for 2020, which is some pretty big news, especially for Knoebels. I mean, they don't do much every year, you know. So for this to be happening is really cool. I mean, they do maintenance. They maintain their rides very well. But they don't really get like brand new things like this. This is really cool. They're completely refurbishing the station of Phoenix. It's going to have like, I believe it looks like they have like the wings of the bird coming off of the station. It's really, really an interesting concept. It looks like really awesome. And that's definitely needed that because it was a very old station, and this is going to be really exciting.
They also said they announced that they're getting their Wisdom Tornado. Is that the?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. So it's like the Howler at Idlewild, and I think
Yeah.
Hershey has one too.
hmm We had already known about that, but they released a concept art for that, which was cool.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
really cool.
yeah, I love Knoebels, and they always are. I mean, this is my third or fourth year of going to East Coaster, and Knoebels is always my favorite presentation. Of course, James didn't get the full experience because half the Knoebels weren't there. I believe it was Brian
Yeah,
Knoebels' daughter was
had like a dance competition.
national cheer
Cheerleader,
championship.
cheerleader. Yeah,
So yeah, he wasn't there. Stacy also wasn't there, but Dick Knoebel and his son Rick Knoebel did the presentation, and they did a very good job. It was still just as entertaining as the Knoebels, even with just half of them. Just wasn't quite as long as they usually. Usually they get yelled at for going too long. This time they kind of kept it under wraps. But yeah, it was definitely it was a lot of fun. I love watching them talk, and there's so much knowledge to be learned from Dick Knoebel.
yeah. One of my favorite people in the community as well, including Dick Noble, is Tom Rebbe of PTC. CoasterCon, I
Yep.
officially met him, and he was one of the keynote speakers at the CoasterCon banquet, which was a great event, one of the best events I've ever been to. I mean, that was just a lot of fun. The banquets at CoasterCon are great because it's just coaster enthusiasts telling stories, and I remember him telling stories. But this was absolutely amazing. He was funny, he was charming, he was telling stories. It was great, and he was poking fun with Dick Knoebel. I mean, he was doing everything. I mean, he went on a couple like a 20 or 30 minute story about going to Italy because Ace is going to Italy this year, and he went on a 30 minute rant about how he was kept wrecking his car. I mean, it was great. It's not even about coasters. It's just about having fun, and that was great. And
I
then we,
can't stop laughing just thinking about it
yeah, it was
again.
it was hilarious. It was hilarious. He's a great guy, and he's a great corporation. He's going to be giving a tour of the PTC factory for Ace and during CoasterCon, so that's awesome. We'll get to go in and check
Yep.
out everything they're doing. And then they also talked about some of the rides that they're redoing this year. So Voyage is one of the trains that they're taking in their shop and configuring. And he said that something big is coming for Voyage in
Yeah, he said
Hollywood Hills.
the park said they needed something, and they're like, if you could come up with something creative, and he's like came up with something really quick, and the park was like, wow, I can't believe he came up with that. But he said he's not allowed to tell us what it is, so should be. I'm kind of curious to see what
Oh
is going
boy,
to be different about the trains.
maybe we should try to like block
Buzz
that out.
bars.
Block it. Oh my god. Oh my god. We would. Oh my god. Oh gosh! Wow, that was a. Ooh,
No, I pretty
that would
much
be a
assure you
doozy.
it won't be
You would
buzz
be
bars.
dead. You would be dead. I'm pretty confident you would die. Um, but speaking of uh, Voyage and everything, maybe I'm thinking about maybe trying to block that out of my social media feed, not saying anything about it. So then when we get there and for Hollywood Nights, we're like, wait, what the heck? That's what happened. I mean, that'd be really kind of. I'm really curious to see what they do. It's interesting. I know they showed pictures of them destroying their trains. They're taking them apart and reconfiguring them, but we have yet to see what the finished product looks like. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's Voyage is one of the best coasters on the planet. If not, it's my
Yes,
favorite, but it's undoubtedly one
absolutely.
of the best, and it's going to be exciting to see that in 2020. All right, so that was East Coaster 2020. It was an exceptional event, so much fun. It was really cool to walk around Hershey and see the park, even when it's closed. I mean, we were right next to Stormrunner. We were right next to Fahrenheit. We didn't get to see Skyrush too much, but I mean, we saw Great Bear. I saw Candemonium. It was a crazy, crazy event. It was fantastic. I loved it. Man, it was a good event. All right, well,
Their
probably one of
staff
the
is really well. They treat us really well as well.
yeah,
It's
the food
really
was
cool.
good. Everything was great. One of the better Ace events I would say that I've been to. Even though I'm not even a fan of, and this is another thing to do with. I'm not a huge fan of non-riding events, but this one definitely is something that you got to check out if you, even if you're not a big fan of them. So that's about it for the Coaster Craze segment of the show, talking about East Coaster 2020, which was an exceptional event. Now it's time to get back into a subject that we've been discussing quite a lot. I think this might be the last. Finally, we've come to the last episode of talking about this. But we're going to talk about what was the first strata coaster, and we're going to try to determine again what a strata coaster is on the segment we call the brake run. Oh boy.
You have to change the sensitivity on Discord because there are segments that I can't hear you because you keep cutting out.
I shouldn't be.
It's under in settings for Discord. It's under voice and video,
I know, I'm on there.
and that input sensitivity. Just turn that down.
I don't see input sensitivity. Oh.
So there were times you just completely disappeared, and I'm like,
Is
I
that
should be
better?
responding. Well, I mean, I don't know. I won't know until we start getting into it, really. That might be too low because it's constantly green now.
Should I turn it up or down?
Go up a little bit.
Is that better?
You're still green. There. Try there for a while.
All right. All right, hopefully that works. Let's move on. Are you ready?
Yep.
So a debate between enthusiasts that we have been constantly having on this podcast is what is the first Stratocoaster? It's a debate that's been had before, but it's something that I honestly have never really thought about too much. That other than now, I've thought about it a lot in the past couple of weeks since we've been discussing it so much. I know that we came to the conclusion that we thought that it would be fair that we can count shuttle coasters as Gigas and Stratos as long as we put the little asterisk next to them, and that's the conclusion we came to in that episode a couple of weeks ago. However, we talked about what was the first shuttle coaster, and I wanted to hear what the entire audience thought, and it was very close. Superman Escape from Krypton got 27% or 27 votes and 48% of the vote, and then Top Thrill Dragster got 52% of the vote or 29 votes. So it was insanely close. And for a while there, Superman. For a while there, Superman was actually dominating. I was watching it and I was like, the first like couple hours, it was Superman was like 80%, and then I guess we got some Top Thrill Dragster supporters to come on and they swayed it back towards the more even side of things, and then eventually took over a little bit.
I think it was probably the there's some older people that use Instagram, and by older I mean like not the main group of people that use it, but like I think this is like an older enthusiast thing where it used to be a like hands down shuttle coasters just were not in the same statistics because you don't go over it. So and the thing is like the younger kids are the ones that are always there, like Instagram hit. They're there to respond right away. That's why you saw it climbing. Yeah. But then the older people that aren't constantly there came around and they're like, oh wait, I better vote.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting how that occurred. It was very interesting to watch that jump up and down. So yeah, I mean, obviously they think technically speaking, Top Thrill Dragster was the first Strata, but I mean, not by much. I'm curious to see if we had a larger voting system. I'm curious to see, if we could tally up the majority of enthusiasts or something like that, what we would get the results. I wonder if it would be close to 50-50 or would it be, maybe one more in one direction, one more in the other. I don't know. It's interesting because, you think Superman Escape from Krypton, I don't think it ever technically hits. I mean, I think on good days it'll hit like 400, but I think a lot of times it hits like 360, 370. So, I mean, I understand some of the logic behind that, but I think that the main point is that the actual structure itself does reach that, and the actual track itself does go up to that. Just because I know the argument from you was, well, you could just add a telephone pole and it could be a 300-foot coaster, even if it's 150 feet tall. But I think if the actual track is reaching that height, I think, in my opinion, that they would classify it there as the coaster, the Giga Coaster, the Strata Coaster, whatever. So I don't know if that's the logic that people were using, but obviously a good amount of people, it's both ways, at least in our audience.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I don't think anything is going to be put to bed over.
There's no set in stone answer.
Like
There's no
it's just
sense
got to
to it.
continue to be contentious in the community. I just the thing that I don't want to see, but I know we're gonna see is the people that have like always said like, well, if it's not full circuit, it doesn't count. I really don't want to see those people start going, oh well, maybe Busch Gardens 2021 should count. So let's like change the way we talk and like, you know, oh no, shuttle coasters don't count except for this one.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
you gotta be full on it. You can either be full on or full
Right.
off.
Right. So like that's the
So
thing.
yeah,
I mean, if you have your, whatever you go by, you stick to that thing.
yeah,
Stick to what you believe.
yeah. Don't be a
You
hypocrite.
can't like change it and say, "Well, I'll count this one but not the other one."
Yeah, I 100% agree. You got to be consistent with your opinion. You can't just keep changing it around and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times we do see people that do that, and that's not cool. Because I know, it's not that big. I think you either do or you don't. You can't just find an exception for one ride, especially in this case. There are cases
Right.
where you can be like, oh yeah, well this thing happened, so it is counts. But this is not like this makes sense why you would or would not count it, and then count all the other ones as well. This is not like a one-time exception kind of thing.
Exactly. You have to like set your guidelines and stick to your guidelines.
Yeah. So normally this is where we would transition into the weekly poll, but there is no weekly poll this week. Well, there is in a sense, and it's going to be the weekly poll for the next 6 weeks. Over the course of 6 weeks, we are going to be determining what the best coaster year of all time was. This is going to be known as the Battle of the Ages, and if you were listening at the beginning of the podcast when I stated this is a big announcement, this is that big announcement. So we're going to be doing basically a tournament style. If you watch March Madness basketball, NCAA basketball, then you know that they do a big tournament. They do a round of 64 where 64 teams contest to become the champion of the NCAA basketball league. And we are determining, in our case, the best years of all time for coasters. So coasters have been around since the early 1900s. And we have a bracket that we've set up actually and are going to start be releasing very soon. I believe actually tonight. So this episode is actually being recorded on a Wednesday night, February 5th. So February 5th is the first official post of the bracket, and of the first voting round will begin on February 5th. So if you are listening to this in future time and you still have a couple of time, if you still have time to vote, obviously, because this voting will be ending. It's a weekly voting system. So if you're listening to this 2 years from now, you're a little late. But if you're listening to this in the next week, you have time to go and listen and vote and put in your ballot. Because this is going to be the break round for the next 6 shows as we make our way to the final round. And yeah, the winner should be released just in time for 2020 season. So this is going to close out our off season. So by the end of the off season, we will figure out what the best coaster year will be. So that's kind of a good way to keep the time passing during the off season.
I think this is awesome. I mean, there's so many out there of like your favorite coaster, your favorite park, and it gets dominated by, I think people just have their default answers. This is something I think people might have to think more about, and you might
Exactly.
get some unique results that we're not seeing.
I'm curious because you always have the upsets in March Madness, and I'm sure we're going to have some in this instance. And it's going to be awesome to see because I know we have like a lot of one. I mean, we picked the seeds. Obviously, me and Bob sat down and picked the seeds. Just like there's a selection committee for the NCAA, but this is actually you guys that are going to be determining the results. You could have the 16 seed beat the 1 seed if you guys wanted to. If you guys vote for that, that's what's going to happen. We're not going to stop it. We're not going to manipulate and be like, no, that was better. This is your guys. This is all based on your feedback and your votes. So in no way is this going to be us challenging your results or anything like that. So if you have, let's say for example, what are let's say like 2000 versus, 1950 or something like that. If you vote for 1950, that's 1950 wins. It's not. We're not going to go. Well, no, 2000 had Millennium. No way. It's not based on your favorite coaster. It's based on we're taking into account the quality of the rides that were released the year, but we're also taking into account the historical significance because historical significance plays just as big a role as the actual quality of the ride. So I think
I think it may play a bigger role in something like this.
in something like that. Maybe it depends on it depends on the audience. We'll have to see how they respond. They might take into consideration historical, and they might. I don't know. We'll see. because a lot of young enthusiasts don't care as much about the historical content and stuff like that. So sadly enough to say that, I think that's true, and I think we might see a lot of modern years win instead. That's just my prediction, but I could be dead wrong, and I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope we have some challenging and unique results. We'll see. We're going to start releasing the poll will be released tonight, the first round. So the first 2 decades to be competing. So we have it set up into four different sections with 2 different decades from each competing. So we have the 2000s and the 1950s are competing. So that's like one region. So there's the East, West, North, South for the NCAA, and ours it's the 2000s and the 1950s is one region. So we have the 1950s and the 2000s are competing in that. It's not 2000s versus all. So it's not like 2000 versus 1950 and then 2001 versus 1951. It's not like that. We have it set in different orders because some are better than others. So it's set and it's right. You can go on our Instagram page and check it out for more in depth content. But it's not all. It's like some of the years it's 2000s versus another 2000 year. It just depends on where they're ranked and how we thought they would compete against each other. We have the
tried
2000s.
very hard. We tried very hard to not cut the years. Like we obviously had to trim some years out of the competition because we just didn't have enough room. We tried very, very hard to, pick the years that we thought there was no way anybody would think of any real significance of that year. So hopefully people don't come yelling at us.
There are a few I will say that I've looked back on, and a lot of the 16 seeds and stuff like that, they don't have the greatest coaster collection, but that's kind of the point. Just like when in NCAA basketball, when the 16 seed plays the 1 seed, there's really no chance of that 16 seed beating the 1 seed. That's happened. It happened a couple years ago with UVA and UMBC. That was really crazy, but other than that, that never really happens. In the 100 years that they've been doing the NCAA tournament, that never has happened. So the 16 seeds aren't supposed to be great. So don't be like, how was 1950 even in this competition? It doesn't deserve a play. It's just because it is, it's the weaker. It has to be. There has to be a weaker year. Not every coaster year was great, and so we had to throw in a couple of kind of downers just so that they would even out, and we'd have the seeds. You can't have all 1 seeds. But yeah, this is exciting. This is a very exciting show, and we're actually going to be doing. So when we do it on the weekly poll, we're not just going to be talking about the results. We're actually going to be me and Bob will actually talk about who we thought should have won and stuff like that, and it'll be almost like when sports analysis do like their analysis the next morning of the competition or whatever, and they're like, wow, that was crazy, I can't believe they won, they pulled off, they played this great defense or whatever. So whenever there's an upset or anything like that, me and Bob are going to be there to talk about maybe what the thought process was behind everyone and then why they voted for it and stuff like that. So it's going to be really awesome. It'll probably be the longest segment of our show for the next 6 weeks. So instead of the Coaster Craze segment being the longest segment, it'll be the weekly poll. That's going to be or the break run will be the longest segment of the show. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, so we won't have weekly polls for the next couple of weeks because we're going to be focusing on the break run. The break run will be the weekly poll. So for the next 6 weeks until March 15th, most likely, that's when we're hoping that'll plan out, and right before the parks open, we'll be releasing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this. This is going to be a ton of fun, and it's our first time doing something like this.
Yeah, and I don't think this has ever been done before.
I've never heard of this. I think we can coin this as our own. I've never heard of. I mean, there might have been like people debating what the best years were. Maybe like, oh no, yeah, I've never heard of a whole competition surrounding this though.
I don't think I've ever even heard like really any polls of which year was better.
Yeah,
something I don't think people think that much of.
And it's kind of important because we always talk about how every year a park, the Parks and House rides, we're always like, oh, this is one of the best years for coasters. And I'm like, but what is truly the best year? What was the best year? Yeah. We always say like, every 2019, we're like, oh, this is one of the best years for coasters. And I'm like, wasn't 2018 one of the best years? And then, I feel like every year we get new coasters. Everyone's always like, this is one of the best years for coasters. I'm like, well, let's really find out what is the best year for coasters. And this is the way of doing that. 2020 obviously is not going to be part of this because it hasn't been upon us yet. We haven't ridden the rides for this
because we're not mind readers.
Maybe if the show continues in 10 years, maybe we'll revisit this and we'll do another. Now we'll include the 2020s. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to do next year with this, but I would like to do something similar to this every couple of years. That'd be a lot of fun. I love these tournament styles, and I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to bring in the audience and everything like that. So again, this is all up to you guys. The voting starts now, honestly. Once this episode ends, I'll be putting it up on Instagram. So if you're listening to this again in the next week, go vote in the round of 64. And even if you're listening to the next couple weeks, because even then, it won't be the round of 64, but it'll be a round of the 8 or a round of 16 or whatever. Go check it out and go try to vote for your favorite year. Hopefully your favorite year hasn't been knocked out by now, but yeah, and try not to be biased too. That's one thing that I'd like to point out. Don't say like, "Oh, Steel Vengeance opened this year. I was my favorite coaster. That's my favorite year."
Right.
Think
Just
like
put some
look
thought
at
into
look
it.
at the when I posted on Instagram, I'm posting I believe 3 coasters from each year. So I listed like the 3. I picked like the 3 best from each year, and I listed them and described them and everything like that, so that you could actually get an idea of what opened that year. So I'm not just gonna say 1950, and then you have to go research 1950 what opened in 1950. You're gonna have a list there that shows you what opened in 1950. So look at the coasters and decide what overall collection was better. Don't just say, "Oh wait, is that Fury? All right, 2015. That's my year. All right, I'm done. That's I'm just gonna keep it for 2015. That's my year." You don't do that, please, because that's not fair. That's not how it works. It's not just based on the one ride.
And don't pick your birth year.
Yeah,
Can't talk.
please don't pick your birth year unless you seriously think it is like
Right.
the greatest. If you're just picking it, oh, I was born that year, so therefore, that's awesome. Yeah, try to keep it unbiased. I'm curious to see. I honestly want to see. I have a feeling that we're gonna get some unique results, not as plain as I think a lot of you might think it might be. But yeah, that's about it for this week's episode. Very exciting stuff there. Follow us on social media: Twitter at @CoasterTalk_Pod, and you can follow Bob at CoasterTalkBob. So he does his like a little bit of an analysis of the industry on that Twitter account, and then of course Coaster Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram at Coaster Talk Pod. Contact us. Contact. I messed that. I always mess it up. You're right.
I lost your video.
I know. I turned it off because it kept like getting all blurry on my end.
Yeah.
All right, you're right. I'm gonna start. Actually, you don't even need to record because you're not gonna say anything, right?
No.
All right. Contact us, coastertalkpodcast.com/contact, and then you can email me personally, James at coastertalkpodcast.com, about any questions, concerns, especially with the Battle of the Ages thing. If you have any questions or concerns, or you think this year should be there, let me know, and then maybe I can fix it. So yeah, it has been a great show. I'm really looking forward to what we have in store. 2020, it looks to be a great year of the coasters. We talked about some of that stuff. East Coaster was a great event. And I've been here. I've been your host, James Barber. I've also been here with Bob, and I'll see you guys all next week. Thanks for listening. All right.
Yay. What were we on time?
I think it was like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. Hour and 30 exactly. Well, not exactly. 1 hour and 29 minutes. Should I save this to the hard drive?
Yes, please do that. How about you send it somewhere else too?
I'm still a little confused about how the separate hard drive works. I just send it on over, but how do I have it take everything off and then I can delete everything off of my other hard drive?
Well, you don't.
Right.
I mean, you use that as a backup, really.
All right, everyone on the live stream. We'll see you guys.